Picture this. It's the early 1700s in what would become New York City. There's a literal wall built by the Dutch to keep threats out, and just outside of it, a marketplace forms. That place becomes what we now know as Wall Street. But here's the part most people don't get taught clearly. Enslaved Africans were deeply involved in building that early city. Under Dutch rule in New Amsterdam, enslaved black laborers cleared land, built roads, constructed buildings, and even helped create the infrastructure that made trade possible. By the time the British took over and renamed it New York, enslaved people made up a significant portion of the labor force. In fact, right near Wall Street, there was a slave market operating in the early 1700s. Enslaved Africans weren't just building the physical structures, they were part of the crucial economic engine. They worked docks, loaded ships, and supported the trade networks that would eventually evolve into America's financial system. So when people say enslaved Africans helped build Wall Street, it's not just symbolic. It's tied to real labor and economic foundations. Now, zoom out. Why did slavery happen in the first place? At its core, slavery, especially the transatlantic kind, was about profit and power. European empires wanted massive amounts of labor to extract resources like sugar, tobacco, and cotton in the Americas. Indigenous populations had been devastated by disease and warfare, so colonizers turned to Africa, where existing systems of slavery were exploited and expanded into something far more brutal and racialized. The transatlantic slave trade became one of the largest forced migrations in history. Millions of Africans were captured, sold, and transported under horrific conditions. What made this system especially destructive was that it became tied to race. Blackness itself was used as justification for lifelong hereditary enslavement. Over time, slavery wasn't just about labor. It became embedded in laws, culture, and economics. It shaped wealth in Europe and the Americas, including places like New York, even though people often associate slavery only with the South. So when you walk past Wall Street today, you're seeing more than skyscrapers and stock exchanges. You're looking at a place built in part on the backs of people who were never paid, never credited, and often erased from the story.